It's Nate Golia with
Woodrow.
Woodrow.
How you doing tonight, man?
We're doing pretty good. I'm excited about tonight's matches. We got Tweety and Hayden, and these are undefeated players. With the win, they're locked for top 8. With the loss, they could still top 8. Some number of X2s will make it in. And both of them have some pretty innovative decks. We're gonna see Magic where people might have to go look at the rules to understand what's going on. So it should be pretty interesting.
I gotta be honest. I didn't get a ton of chances to prepare. I know you did because I know you were looking at the list
talking about him, and I had a lot going on this week. So
I'm just gonna tell him we can get started.
So from Tweety, we've got some classic rock stuff. We've got some D's.
You guys can go ahead whenever you're ready now, Hayden.
Yeah.
Cool.
Some therapies. But where things get interesting with Tweety's list is his choice of win condition. Instead of just attacking with like some spirit mongers, he's got kind of cool win cons involving reanimating fatties out of the graveyard, weird contamination lockouts, and nether spirit that never dies.
Yeah.
So Tweety's got some interest, and he's got Call of the Herd. Because sure, that card's good.
Well, he's got a card that I think could be played more in this format, which is he has an Anarid Rushhopper. I think I saw that in his deck. Yeah, but
I think he's strictly black. No, he has a Phantom Neshoba in his deck.
Oh, that's a Phantom Neshoba. Okay. I thought it was Anarid Rushhopper, so he could get this card outlet for his other reanimating things.
Yeah, he has a Phantom Neshoba. So both of these decks have Cabal Therapy. So whoever's done their homework and knows what's in other people's decks is going to be pretty heavily advantaged at this phase of the game. So they both mulligan. They're both going to trade some therapies here. So whoever hits is going to... So we don't know what Hayden named, but he missed. And now Tweety's just going to fire back, and he's not going to miss because he's got Duress into therapy. Woo! All right.
So he's going to hit the survival.
Yeah. So that's a key card in the matchup. I felt like if Hayden had the survival and it stuck around for about 2 turns, it might be really hard for Tweety to win. But so Hayden's a combo deck with survival, and I feel he's the most powerful deck when survival is in play. But when it is not in play, I feel like he's got a bunch of weird, like kind of mismatched puzzle pieces that may not be that great without like a tutoring engine going on. So
guess you take the Necro here.
Yeah, I think you take the Necro as well. Tweety's got a busted enchantment of his own. Necro, super powerful. You can play 4 of them in this format. Fun fact, Cabal Therapy Squee Goblin Nabob doesn't work out so well, so I suspect Tweety might just pass it. Oh, he's gonna, what are we trying to guess?
Well, if he's got 2 of them, he might as well just name survival again.
Yeah, well,
in case he's out of it.
If Hayden had survival, he would have just played it here, I think.
That's
Stern Proctor.
Stern Proctor.
Yeah, so Stern Proctor is it bounces an artifact or enchantment when it comes into play, I think. It's 2 blue. So like if there's some weird lock piece in play, like Ensnaring Bridge or something, or a Null Rod that can actually you can bounce it with the Stern Proctor. But this is kind of what I was talking about. Like if you look at what Hayden's got in play, he's got 2 1/1s and some uncastable stuff in his hand that's like not really very important. So like he really needs survival to get his engine going. So Tweety's just drawn another Necros.
Drew a skull.
So it's off to the races.
Well, I think one of the things that's interesting here. Well, I don't know. It's kind of too bad. If Hayden draws out the blue source, he can Stern Proctor back the Necro, then flashback the Cabal Therapy with the Mesmeric Fiend, naming Necro, and get 2 of them, which I think he would have to consider doing if he draws the blue source, because he really can't let Tweety untap with us much more.
Yeah, I mean, but the problem is Necro is just such a powerful card. I feel like the damage
exactly. At this point, it's already however many cards.
Yeah.
Tweety drew. He's at 12.
Yes, I think he was at 18. I think he drew 6, and now we're moving to clean up here.
Yep.
So yeah, both of these decks have some pretty busted enchantments, cards that you can't play in Legacy that are, Necro's restricted in Vintage. It's so powerful. So it's not a surprise that these guys are undefeated. Like they're definitely bringing their most powerful, best decks here. really flexing what the format has to offer. I feel like this next turn cycle, Tweety's gonna start doing something very proactive, and I'm not sure what Hayden can do here, because Tweety's deck has Pernicious Deed in it, so even if we top deck like Survival and start activating, it might be too late. So yeah, we're not sure what's gonna happen. But for one, we're going to attack for 2. Step 1, when my opponent is paying life to draw cards, I like to take their life away.
Put them under pressure.
Yeah, that's 2 less cards my opponent can draw. We're in. City of Brass. All right, so
he's going to play Squee, which I think he's yeah.
Maybe the Stern Proctor to bounce might have been a little more exciting. What? Yeah, I mean, we can flash back the Necro now. I mean, the Therapy now, and name Pernicious Deed, and then it's
the card that kills him.
Yeah, it's hard because Tweety's win cons are so strange. Like, for instance, Therapy Call of the Herd is not going to get you anywhere. So, the card you wanted Therapy the most is Necro. You want to get Necro out of here, but no, we just played Squee. We put this 1/1 Goblin out here. And now let's see what Tweety has to bring to the table.
The only thing he discarded was that redundant
extra
Necro, right?
Extra Necro. There's an exiled Cabal Therapy that he could not have cast, so I guess he discarded a Therapy because Hayden's essentially hellbent. All right. Yeah. When you untap with 7 cards and all your mana, you gotta think about how you're gonna put the game away.
I'm now thinking about Tweety's win conditions
here.
Like you said, it's about
reanimating stuff.
And if he discards a card from his hand, it gets removed from the game.
That's true. I mean, that's like really. Entomb. Yeah, he's got Entomb. He could just cast. All right, there we go. There we go. And when you're discarding, because you have too many cards in your hand, I'm sure you'll navigate a way to translate that to winning the game. That's a problem we all want to have. Oh, I've got too many cards, just don't know what to do with myself.
I'm just looking at what he's got. He's got Verdant Force. I think he's go for that. I don't think he can go for Phantom Neshoba.
Go for
Symbiotic Worm of
Visara the Dreadful, but.
Oh, Visara, that's actually pretty smart, because with Visara in play, it's harder for Hayden to execute his combo with this onboard like Doomblade. So, all right, we're casting Exhume. We get this Visara. Man, if only.
Hey, Woodrow, do you have headphones?
Yeah.
Plug headphones in, because I think I'm coming through your speakers. Because everyone in the chat is saying I'm echoing.
My bad. Let me see what I can do about that.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but apparently it's a lot worse. I was telling everyone in chat, hold on. So yeah, with Visara Dreadful in play, just an onboard.
All right, is that better? Sound off, chat.
All right, so let's see if we're still echoing. If not, which hopefully we're not. There we go. That's good. We got it. Perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
I gotta remind everyone to get headphones. That's got a thing I gotta put on my list to do. Thank you, everybody. Anyway, Hayden's in real bad shape.
Yeah. We've got this.
What's he gonna do? I guess he's not gonna kill them. He can kill the Mesmeric Fiend, get his Necro back for value, and he's not gonna Visara. Visara's a 5/5 flyer. See, the thing is, I kind of want to get this game over with.
All right, so we're casting this sweet Demonic Tutor.
Yeah, he's got Diabolic Intent.
Yeah.
We gotta decide he's gonna.
All right, so we sack the Squee. Sure, that's like a free roll. And we.
Well, he's gonna get Survival, get Squee back next turn, and try and combo off. But like you said, I don't think.
Right, the Visara is really making that hard. And of course, we all appreciate that Tweety has brought set foils.
Set foil, I know. I love it.
not often we get to see set foil tainted fields. These weird dual lands that only work if you have swamps.
Is that what that is? I couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what it was with Llanowar Waste.
Right. No, it's better than Llanowar.
No, I thought it was a Llanowar
swamps
Waste
in your deck.
Yeah.
So but yeah, if you have to have like triple black on turn 3 for your Necro, you definitely can't put any forests in your deck. So got to use these weird Odyssey lands, which is something I had to do in my deck. I'd use like Skycloud Expanse because the dual lands in this format.
Every time you have that Skycloud Expanse in play, I think it's a flooded strand, and every time I'm like, what is he doing?
Yeah,
they look so much alike.
They do. They really do look alike.
Especially at this distance. Yeah,
the dual lands in this format, you got to dig deep to get everything going here to get your mana base working. Notice the City of Brass, which I'd identified, myself and my others had identified as one of the important lands in the format. So, all right, so here we are. We're doing the thing you mentioned, splashing back therapies. So first thing is Tweety gets the Necro back in his hand. And now, what do we name it? Wow, Tweety drew a zillion lands. So he's really kind of... Oh, all right, there we go. There are the cards.
Okay. Now, whatever gets discarded is going to get removed from the game, so we're going to hope that he remembers that. I got to hop into Zoom for a second, but...
Yeah, so, I would assume the name would be Pernicious Deed, because it's really hard to beat that card. But I guess we missed on what we named, or did we name?
I'm trying to think of what he could have possibly named.
All right,
wasn't Pernicious Deed in that situation.
Yeah, I feel like Deed was the name, but all right, Tweety's tapping a bunch of mana, and he's gonna Deed for 2, and just so that Deed, yeah, so and just get rid of everything. So yeah, this is we're going for the Mortal Kombat kind of flawless victory sort of scenario here.
Yeah, all he needs is a way to destroy these lands.
Yeah. All right, and Tweety, feeling like his hand was good enough, only drew 1 card off the Necro. Meanwhile, his opponent is going to play a 1/1 Goblin or a weird 2/2 Cleric researcher guy.
You almost don't want to bounce. You don't even want to bounce it.
Yeah,
and assuming this is old templating, which it is, he has to bounce the Necro. There's no choice.
So yeah, Necro. This card's pretty good. Lets you run away with the game.
I preferred the harsh tutors. They made mischief all the more fun. Teferi, level student. Teferi being like the grizzled old, like, dominating force that he has been the past couple of years in releases is really weird, considering how much I remember Teferi as the student.
Yeah,
Not that I don't remember Mirage too, but like he had so much more flavor text in. It seems like he had so much more flavor text in the Saga block. This is anyway going to be attack for 5.
Yeah. And you really just don't have to do anything here. Like, you have perfect information as Tweety. Like, there's almost nothing that can be drawn that really gets you. And he agrees.
Visara the Dreadful. 3 and 3 black for a 5/5 legendary creature Gorgon. With flies and taps for terror. What do you think that would be now? Like an 8/8 for 6. Geez. The fact that it's a 5/5 is always what throws me off.
Yeah, and it flies, but it's not a dragon.
It's not even that though. It's you know what I mean. It's like these days, all these big creatures are just like really big, and you don't realize that a 5/5 is not that big.
Yeah.
Relative to like Grizzlebrand, which also gains you 7 life. It's like I was playing one of these. I was playing hyper extended but similar format, and I was able to race a Rhea Dawnbringer because it's only 4 power.
Only a 4/6, yeah. The rest of their deck needs to be humming for Rhea to be relevant.
Yeah.
But yeah, what does 6 mana get you in standard right now? Like Dream Trawler, where you get the pseudo hexproof lifelink draw a card creature. Yeah. That's what 6 mana gets you in standard right now.
Let's see if Hayden played 1 lightning bolt and draws it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
All right.
Nope.
Okay. So you get to duress the therapy. Does Hayden have like some random haste red creature? That would be too funny.
Well, it's almost like sometimes when you have a toolbox deck, you put that in there just for that reason, right?
Yeah.
But let's look at these sideboards then.
Yeah, let me pull that up here.
Tweety has 4 Oath of Druids.
Right. Tweety has this great anti-creature package if Hayden was like on the beatdown, where he has Oath of Druids, and
Thunder Dragon.
like Thunder Dragon, which is a classic from Start in '99, which no one has ever heard of.
That I didn't know was legal. But
yeah, that's the weird thing about this format. A lot of these fringe releases are legal.
There's no way I think I would bring in this Oath package though, right? Because Hayden's playing the board, right? If you bring it in and then you just Thunder Dragon away his board of Finhorn Elves and Stern Proctors, and then you have a 5/5 flyer and your graveyard full of goodies.
Yeah, but you don't need it.
It's true. That's the other thing. The other argument is that you don't need it.
You don't need it.
You should bring in this Oath of Druids into a one-sided board wipe versus no, you shouldn't, because you just won anyway because you resolved Necro.
So let's see what. Hayden has some. He has Duress, which is pretty good. He has 2 guys that blow up enchantments: a Monk Idealist, an Elvish Lyricist, and a Naturalize. The problem is, of course, blowing up the Necro after it's already in play is kind of not great. He has some Tormod's Crypts if he wants to interact with Tweety's like reanimation package. But it's interesting because Hayden's playing this combo deck. You don't want to sideboard in such a way that you break up your own combo. And I definitely feel like Hayden is the combo player and Tweety is the control player in this matchup. So as Hayden, I would want to sideboard with a pretty light touch. I just want to proactively assemble my combo. If Hayden had like an alternate sideboard package, like some sort of beatdown package in case his combo doesn't work, I could see him going to that because Tweety's deck has a lot of disruption. But he doesn't really seem to. So he's just hoping to be on the play and get the survival going and generate that way he can grind it out if his combo doesn't work. And as for Tweety, he could, I think he'd probably just want to maybe board in. He has some graveyard hate. Yeah, he just has so many weird things. Like he has the contamination lock in his sideboard. He can just bring in contamination. He has like
which would really mess with Hayden's deck. I mean, his mana base is extremely fragile.
He's got like Coffin Purge to attack the graveyard. He has Naturalized to blow out survivals, and he has his Oath package. So really, it's anybody's guess as to how people have sideboarded, especially Tweety. His fundamental plan of stop or control survival and then resolve Necro, that plan is going to be good, like no matter what's going on. And then the rest is kind of just the details. So we'll see. I'm very curious. And like if you're Hayden and Tweety has Oath, which we're not sure if he does, then it's interesting. Do you bring in these Naturalizes to blow up the Oath because you're afraid?
Come on back, internet. One second. There we go. Okay, sorry. We missed a lot of that because my internet went down for a moment, but it's back. It's back now.
All right. Well, I just told everybody the silver bullet to sideboarding in this matchup and all others, but unfortunately, thanks to the internet being down, you'll just have to figure it out on your own.
Well, you can thank the Suddenlink Corporation for that little hiccup.
Oh, yeah.
Happens at least once per stream these days.
Yeah, they were not great when I lived in College Station.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm with you in that both players, it's the temptation to avoid overboarding for the situation, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You can make the case for Hayden that he needs to stop Necro and he's got to bring in all this stuff, but what are you cutting?
Right, like anything you're cutting is making your combo worse. I mean, then yeah, like if Hayden knows that Tweety has Oath, then bringing in Naturalize is like more tempting. But it's only if you really think that Tweety's gonna like board in the Oath. Is he? We don't know. Like so.
The card I think is not is a tough point here for Hayden is Mesmeric Fiend, because the fact that that Tweety's got removal means that Mesmeric Fiend is just that's good against like combo decks.
Right.
The other option side of that though is that it's good survival fuel, right? You have to discard a creature to survival.
Yeah.
And you don't want to cut all your creatures because you could end up with a survival in play and then like more duresses in your hand, which you don't really necessarily want. So it'll be interesting to see. That's where that's the card that I think has the most tension in this particular matchup. Even with anything with discard against a mid-range deck, I don't love.
So as I think about it, I think that Tweedy actually will side into the Oath package because I'm looking at his normal win conditions, which are like he has like Call of the Hurt, some Call of the Hurts, and Deranged Hermits, and I think that those cards are too fair for this matchup. So why play fair? Just board in your own degenerate Oath of Druids card. All right, so here we are. Double survival and 1 land. I like it. This is definitely the type of hand you want. As Hayden, of course, the therapy would have really wrecked your dreams, but this is what's going on.
Wow, I mean, that was a therapy. Hayden is going to be in huge trouble. As it stands, instead, he's going to get survival into play next turn.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't hesitate to keep this hand, and the Volar Shapeshifter, assuming he gets it into play, opens up weird lines where he can just manually discard stuff to the Shapeshifter and get his engine going that way, since he has the Devour, he has half of it.
That's he can just get that into play next turn, and then
assuming he draws a land.
Yeah, if he draws a land, he can win the turn after he draws the land.
Yeah. If he draws a land, then he can win like the following turns.
That's
naturalized. All right, so
now Hayden's board just sucks.
That's not so great. All right. So you got a land.
I think you got to just go for it, though, right?
Yeah, we're supposed to play.
Unless he has the third survival. Oh my god.
Man, all right. Well, if I was Tweety, I would have really thought that I was sitting pretty there. I've blown up 2 survivals. We were doing it, and the mystery card. What is it? What's behind door number 3? It's more survival based.
Hey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 out of 9 cards were survival that Hayden has seen so far. Hey, so now we see if 3 out of 9 cards are ways to deal with the survival in Tweety's hand.
That's why we play the games. We don't just say, "Oh, mathematically I won." You're statistically unlikely to win this game. Just pack them up.
Yeah, he's very statistically unlikely. I mean, I think about that sometimes. One thing I'd love to do for the stream sometimes is get win probability. I wish there was a way to program it because I love watching it with football games.
Oh yeah,
the win probability goes up and down. Like an interception, and it's like moves in in so much. Like drawing the 3rd survival off the top. What does it really do? He's gonna get an activation on this too, which means he could discard the Devour, right?
No, I think that for the combo to work, the Devour has to be like the top creature, so he has to discard the Psychotalk. I think that's how Volar Shapeshifter works. It copies the top creature in the graveyard.
Well, I'm just thinking he discards a Devour at the end of this turn, plays the Shapeshifter, which becomes a Devour.
Right.
Then he activates Survival, holds priority, makes it huge. Oh no, he's got to activate Survival first. So maybe you're right.
Yeah, he's got to get the Trike in his hand because otherwise, if he makes it huge, he could accidentally
exile. No. Yeah, he can accidentally exile the thing he wants.
Wait, yeah. How the Devour? I have to look up how Devour works because this card works very strangely, and not at all how it's printed.
No, I think it does work how it's printed. It used to not work how it's printed. It depends on what level of the rules you're looking at.
All right, yeah. So it exiles. So you can't start activating the Devour right away because you could exile your Trike and get really embarrassed.
So he could discard the Psychotalk, get the Trike.
Yeah.
Play.
Yeah. Play the
Psychotalk. Yeah.
Well, play the doppelganger.
Or he's just gonna totally just change his mind here.
All right,
or maybe he's also wrong. Maybe he's just as wrong as I was.
What's going on here? So in the meantime, Tweety played a Necro and drew a bunch of cards. All right, so we're getting the Trike. So now that the Trike's in our hand, if we draw a land this turn, I think we win because we get to play the guy, the Shapeshifter. We make it really big with the Devour. and then we activate survival and discard the trike and kill Tweety. So we're drawing a land. Yeah, like it.
He has to respond to the "you're dead" trigger. Okay, so maybe.
Yeah. So I like it. My opponent just drew a bunch of extra cards with Necro. We need to put this game away right now.
We need to do not let him untap.
Yeah. So this is no fear. Just get him. So yeah,
what a format for enchantments! Oh my god.
Yeah, Tweety discarding like a zillion lands that he drew with his Necro, because Tweety drew like 10 cards. Okay, but judging by his life total, Tweety went real deep. So here it is, one-time dealer. Hayden's knocking the deck. Slam it.
Game's over.
Yeah, game is over. Tweety, there's no free surgical extractions in this format. Tweety can make him. What is? Yeah. So he's showing how it's gonna work. First, I play this guy. He's a devourer. I exile my library to make my guy like huge.
Yeah. Okay. Tweety got it.
Tweety got it. If Tweety had wanted, he could have asked Hayden to show his deck so he understood how Hayden sideboarded. But Tweety's seen enough. He's like, oh, combo. All right.
No, Tweety knows good TV. That's what he knows. Yeah, wait, never mind. He's pile shuffling, which is not good TV.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
Go ahead. So now Tweety's going to be on the play, and it's important to note, like, if he's on the play, he probably would have won. He could have duressed, blown up both the survivals. He would have gotten to untap after drawing 10 cards up Necro. So yeah, we're kind of at the two ships passing in the night type of situation. But yeah, we get to demonstrate how one of the ways that Hayden's deck can win. Hopefully the people in the chat understood what happened, because it is a little weird. So I'm going to
take us a second to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll explain it just one more time while they're shuffling, because what else are we going to do?
Yep.
Valor Shapeshifter is a copy of whatever the top creature card in the graveyard is. So in that case, it was Phyrexian Devourer. And Phyrexian Devourer says you can exile a card from your library and put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the converted mana cost of this card. And then it has this other text where if Phyrexian Devourer's power gets above 7, sacrifice it. But this is a trigger. So you can respond to this I have to kill myself trigger by exiling more cards and making it bigger and bigger and bigger. So Hayden is able, and this costs no mana. Of course, that's where the degenerate part is. This doesn't cost you anything. So Hayden's able to make the Valar Shapeshifter / Phyrexian Devourer as large as the total sum of all the converted mana costs in his deck, which is more than 10. And then, once again, in response to the sacrifice myself trigger, he can activate survival and discard the trike. And now, note, it's not +X +X, it's +X +X +1/+1 counters. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
And because of the trike, he can remove them to shoot Tweety to death. And that's how we into the
trigger's still on the stack.
Yeah, and so the game ends before the Phyrexian Devourer / Valor Shapeshifter has to die to its own triggered ability. So here we are. Tweety's on the play. So that was turn. Oh, was that turn 3 or 4?
I feel like he missed a land drop, so we're looking at turn 4 or 5, right?
Yeah. So here we are. Yeah, this format's capable of some pretty busted stuff.
It is quite interesting how. I mean, you think my opponent just played a 3 mana, draw 7. That's pretty good. It's like Tweety might be having to run off for a second.
All right. Well, yeah. The gag is, mana is a big choke point. Tweety's deck doesn't really have any free spells like Force of Will, for example. So he can't just draw 7 and pass confidently, just Force of Willing whatever he wants. And like I said, there's no surgical extraction. There is Tormod's Crypt, but because you draw all the cards with Necro at the end of your turn, you wouldn't have a chance to play it. And also the way, Tormod's Crypt would have worked in that situation, but usually, because of weird timing, if your Valar Shapeshifter opponent is playing correctly, Tormod's Crypt actually doesn't work, I think.
Yeah.
So, all right, but Hayden's mulliganing, which is a little rough. Tweety's deck's got like a zillion duress effects, and we know that Therapy is going to be naming Survival of the Fittest. Like, I can't imagine it naming anything else.
Not only that, like Hayden's just prone to drawing not great hands, and every card you take out of the Survival player's hand. That's the payoff for allowing Survival to stay legal in the format. Is a lot of times the deck can just kind of like fall apart in the opening hand. So we'll see what happens here. And it's duress.
Yeah, especially All right. So we left in the Mesmeric Fiend, and otherwise we've got some pretty standard stuff.
We've got it's a dead survival. Yeah.
Yeah, you keep any hand with survival and lands. That's perfectly reasonable. And
survival lands and what are your creature combo cards like?
Yeah, and some protection. All right, Tormod's Crypt.
Yeah, you're not flashing back that duress.
So Hayden did board in like cards that interact with Tweety here. We'll see.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Hayden. So
yeah, he can Mesmeric Fiend next turn.
Yeah.
Looks like Tweety might be locked up here. Oh, there he goes.
No, he's gone. Yeah, it's interesting you're talking about enchantments. So like in this format, there are no planeswalkers. So like the busted like persistent effects are almost all on enchantments or artifacts. Like we've seen Survival and Necro. There's also Winter Orb, which is super powerful. Humility, which is an absurdly frustrating card. Like,
extremely.
Nobody likes that card.
It is interesting though. Like, I love what you said about the fact there's no planeswalkers, and that's what you do because you've been playing Standstill. I don't know if you are in this league or not.
I know. I just ran it back. I got busy testing Vintage, so I just played the same deck.
I played a deck with Goblin Bombardment, which is another, really insane enchantment if you can get it to work. And these days, it would just be like some sort of planeswalker that you would play instead.
Yeah. So all right. So we're Mesmeric Fiending. What is Tweety hiding from us? He's got Naturalize. He's got Call of the Herd. So Tweety did not sideboard much. If Call of the Herd is still in his deck, I don't think he brought it with the package.
This is a really tough decision.
I think it's pretty straight up. You just take this Necro out of here. I mean, you're right. So no, he doesn't have a way to reanimate a creature. The duress doesn't do anything. Yeah, you just take Necro, I think. Call of the Herd's a really slow clock. Yeah, let's get out of here.
I mean, I know it probably doesn't sound. I guess it's not like it's not. You have to take the Necro, but it still kind of sucks because Entomb is a tutor.
Right, but we have Entomb covered because we have the Tormod's Crypt.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yeah,
I totally forgot he even had it in play. So
with all the big brain plays. So yeah, the question is, do we Tormod's Crypt away the Nether Spirit, who's just like this 2/2 who blocks forever, lets you flashback Cobalt Therapy. So Nether Spirit, if Hayden has knowledge of Tweety's deck, Nether Spirit's super scary because Tweety might have contamination running around, and that's just like lights out. On the other hand, by itself, a 2/2 like a random grizzly bear is not something that Hayden's going to lose to.
Yeah, well, it depends on how many attacks he gets in with it, though.
Yeah,
I think I'm attacking, right? Like, well, not this turn because it doesn't.
Oh yeah, I mean you're not. Yeah, you definitely rumble in. Why not? Hayden. Ooh, we've got a clock.
Yeah, there's a clock, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Hayden's mana base also damages him, so attacking him is a priority. So you can't tap the City of Brass.
Blockers are terrible.
Yeah. I mean, why aren't we attacking?
Kind of feel like maybe we should have traded that Tormod's Crypt for the Entomb.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What else do you have it in for? He casts the Entomb. Like, it doesn't matter what he gets. You're trading it for the Entomb.
Yeah,
I guess you want to catch it.
If there's something more scary in the graveyard, like you can save it to get like all right, Bird's Paradise, like a Visara in response to like an Exuma effect, because the gag is like a 2/2 just isn't very scary. I think that we can live 10 turns of 2/2 beatdown.
I agree on that, except he's going to attack for 5 next turn, or he could put he can make a Call to Herd token, and now you're not getting any value off that Tormod's Crypt by hitting it there. And then you're talking about taking 2, then 8, then 8. Yeah. That's 3 turns.
That's true. I mean,
or 2 then 8.
Definitely.
2 then 8 then 8.
So we could have made it, 0 then 6 then 6. But we didn't know about the. Okay, what are we doing here? We get this Call of the Herd, I guess. Therapy on Call of the Herd, not the greatest, but sure, let's do it. Ooh, wait, what's going on?
He's going to naturalize the Tormod's Crypt in response.
All right, so now we just have to bork, the meaningless cards in the graveyard for no reason.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough. I think that is the play, though. I think he should have really hit the Nether Spirit because he just traded for the Entomb.
Yeah, okay. Now that we're in the context of the Naturalize, Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got to tell him that naturalized gets exiled. Just give me a second to do that. Hey, that you discarded the naturalized. It's still exiled. Oh no, you played it. I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
it's just only when you discard a card to exile it.
All right, my bad. Misinterpreted. Okay, never mind. So it doesn't have to do that. I think they're still discussing whether or not.
Yeah, Cabal Therapy is a little unexciting. All right, so get the duress.
I just went in there.
All right, so now we're gonna do the trick where we.
Oh, done. Necro wasn't in play, Woodrow.
Yeah, Necro isn't even in play. You're like, oh, now the Cabal Therapy. But Hayden's Cabal Therapy is exiled.
Yeah. Okay. 2. Oh, yeah, he's gonna play the call.
He's doing flash.
Okay, we're a mess, but we've got it figured out. We gotta talk about where to put stuff that's being exiled by Mesmeric Fiend.
Oh yeah, well, it doesn't matter now that Mesmeric Fiend is dead, so this is game 3. So yeah, I mean, on board and looking at people's hand, Tweety's definitely got the clock on board. Hayden's not doing much. I think Hayden needs to, play out the shapeshifter and hope to draw something for it to copy. Like if he plays out the shapeshifter and draws, gross. That is unfortunate.
That explains why he didn't just windmill slam that token.
Yeah. Call of the Herd plus Pernicious D is kind of a nombo-wombo here. Now we're in trouble because if we play something, it just gets deeded away.
The Necro... So I got to answer a thing in the chat. The Necro went back to his hand, and then it was named the Cabal Therapy. That's what happened. That's how we got all tangled up. Anyway, yes, Woodrow, sorry.
Yeah, the deed really puts the hurting on Hayden here. I think you kind of just have to get 2 for 1 by this deed. If you get a bunch of mana in play, you could potentially combo off all in response to the deed. So that's a lot of mana. That's 3 more lands, and we need to draw the Devourer.
If the way things are set up right now, this Volrath Shapeshifter is going to be a Mesmeric Fiend, which is going to take the Call of the Herd.
Yeah. Ooh, man,
and then if
weird.
Tweety wants to deed all that stuff away.
Yeah. Oh man, he doesn't even, because I think the Volrath Shapeshifter copies the CMC of whatever creature it is, so you just have to deed for 2. So you don't even blow up your own Nether Spirit, which would come back anyway.
It's a bizarre but really cool card. Volrath Shapeshifter.
Oh yeah, this is very strange, strange magic card. So yeah.
What's the worst thing that's happened to you in the league so far with the survival deck? If has anything happened to you that's noteworthy? Because I'm thinking about the time my opponent brought the Shapeshifter to play as a Hypnox, which made me exile my hand, then they just changed it to something else. And so when I killed it, I didn't get my hand back.
Right. And that's definitely something that Hayden has access to in his deck list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played against Hayden's list. The only survival list I played against was mono green elf survival. So he made a bunch of elves, and then I cast Humility, and the elves just kind of were dorks.
Hold on a second. As long as the top card of your creature is top card of your graveyard is a creature card, Volrath Shapeshifter has the full text of that card and has the text to discard a card. Has that card's name, mana cost, color, types, abilities, power, and toughness.
Correct.
Oh, that is a copy though. Now I'm confused as to why they spelled it all out like that. Huh, that's weird. I guess you can't copy something that's not in play. I don't know. I can't figure it out either. I'm just reading. That's the updated Oracle text.
The Oracle text.
What a bizarre phraseology.
All right.
Volrath Shapeshifter attempting to copy a Sisay. in the art. It looks like.
So it's actually interesting because Tweety can't really activate his treetop village and attack because then he won't have mana to activate the deed. So I feel like Tweety might be incentivized to start activating the deed sometime soon, just so he can either play the Call of the Herd or activate the treetop and get like more, start putting more pressure on. And instead we'll smother. Okay, well that'll do.
That gets his Call of the Herd back.
Yoink. All right. Okay.
1 man away from that trike.
Yeah, two turns.
You're not deeding that off the board.
Yeah, Trike can just dominate the combat step. So, who would have thought? Random artifact beatdown.
This is great middle school Magic because their decks either do their thing perfectly or do something weird or peter out. That's exactly what the...
Yeah. All right, so here we are. Where's my elephant?
It's a random thing. There are no elephant Pokemon in my brother's box, so I have to use Rhyhorn for my elephant token. And I keep all these Pokemon cards by my desk.
Yeah, I think Hayden's best draw is probably a land to play this trike.
I wonder what that card we don't know is.
All right, well he just took his draw, so we're thinking. So I'm gonna say, the card Eternal Witness is not in this format.
Yeah.
Which would obviously be in.
Could you imagine?
Hayden's deck for sure. Which is okay because when Eternal Witness and Survival are both legal, you can never actually blow up Survival. Like they play it and you blow it up, and there's like, I'll just go get Eternal Witness and get my Survival back. Right. Once Survival resolves, you can never get rid of it. So. Alright, Hayden's going to the tank. What do we got here?
I gotta know what this card is. I'm just desperate. Is it a Survival? No, it's Cabal Therapy. Okay, so it's not even that good. Okay.
Yeah, this is not a land or a Survival. What do we got? Alright, so Tweety just has a land in his hand, so it's all pretty much base up at this point. But Tweety is bringing the beat down. He can flashback the call or activate the Treetop Village. And Hayden's only at 10, so a big attack this turn could make it to where he can't use the City of Brass and one of his pain lands.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He's this is 8.
Rolling for 8. So the trike is better because you can stack damage, but I think that Hayden is just dead because he's at 2. If he drew a land and plays a trike, he'd be at 1. And I don't think he can. I don't think that'll do.
What is that?
Psychotog. Womp womp. All right. So here we are. The Rock delivering these victories. Duress taking us Survival of the Fittest. It's good enough.
Yeah, I mean. I think we've got our next match getting ready to get set up, so we're going to take a quick break and we'll come back then.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
I'll be right back.
Okay, it looks like we're back and ready to go with our next match.
All right. Do we know these records? They're both X1, I think?
I believe they are both X and 1, yeah.
Okay.
X and 2 guys get to do the commentary.
Oof,
I'm X and 2. I'm X and 2. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I weep giant salty tears. The winner of this match is not a lock for top 8, but it'll help them a lot. Whereas the loser, they're going to have to win the next round and hope for some favorable tie breaks.
We actually have 6 rounds, so it's even more important to only have one loss going into that last round, right?
No, because we were just above the cut. We had 40 players, and so the cut to go from 5 to 6 is 32 because we're just above the cut. By my math, 3 or 4 X2 players will make it into the top 8. And we're not allowing any draws in this league. None of that. Everyone's got to play it out, which was really punishing to some land still and land tax type players. But
I finished all my land tax matches fast. Some other people land tax.
We had some 2-hour matches. But yeah, there's no draws in this. So 3.5. X2s will make it. So you want to take your losses at the end, play against the top players. So a loss doesn't necessarily knock either of them out, but you definitely want to win here. We have Kyle's deck, who's playing the Rock with a more traditional win con than Tweety. Instead of reanimating Visara or having Nether Spirit, he's just attacking with Spirit Monitor. Classic creature from like 15 years ago that used to be, quote, too good.
This is the winning deck list from last. Time, right? This
is the winning deck list with an improved sideboard, I think.
That was your idea.
He's got Genesis in the sideboard, which we just forgot to put in last season for some reason. And most importantly, in his sideboard, like last season, he has access to some copies of Engineered Plague. We most certainly will be seeing them in this matchup because Lorian is on Goblins.
This Goblins deck, he's got a Black Splash.
Right, and he's got the perfect counter for Engineered Plague. He's got Drellnu's Crusade, a little-known plane-shift card it is a black-red enchantment that turns all your goblins into zombies as well and gives them all +1/+1. So it's great against Engineered Plague because, if it's in play and Plague's in play, you just get to do your thing. But the worst thing about playing these synergistic decks like Goblins is you didn't want to side in reactive cards and hurt your deck. But Drellnu's Crusade is basically another Goblin pump card. So even if they don't draw the Plague and you draw the Crusade, you're feeling really good about yourself. Lorian's deck, in addition to some sweet Goblin action, he's got a lot of value with Ringleaders. He's got Matrons. He's got Goblin Lackeys, so it's real degenerate. He also has access to some Wish targets. He has Burning Wish.
He's got Burning Wish. So he can get... Well, I guess it's Burning Wish for Goblin King?
Burning Wish is
sorceries. Sorry, I was thinking Living Wish. So he can get
Living Death. Living Death is the
Living Death
here.
is so good.
Yeah, if all his goblins get killed, he can just go resurrect them all.
Which is good against the other big card in Kyle's deck, which is Pernicious Deed.
That is true. All right, so we've got the turn 1 lackeys. So Lorian's keeping it on book here. Kyle didn't have a turn 1 play. Let's see a Wall of Blossoms. Yeah! Yep. Well, that's why I get paid the big bucks. So being on the play is really important, as always, but especially when your opponent has like a Goblin Lackey, you really want to be able to answer that card. Goblin Lackey almost has like 20 power, it feels like, because if it connects, your opponent gets like a free 5 mana Goblin, into play. Just can't win anymore. All right, we're firing up this Therapy. What do you think you name? I think it's Pernicious Deed is the name. What would you name?
I would name Deed here. He's gonna see a Diabolic Edict.
Okay. So Kyle's hand, not great. Let's see if Lorian's got some quick pressure here. He could definitely put the hurting on. Skirk Prospector. All right, so next turn, Lorian could play a Goblin Ringleader and draw a bunch of goblins. That's always pretty good.
If he's not attacking through the wall anyway, might as well just cash in that Goblin Lackey as like a suspended ritual.
Yeah, and then the other problem. Oh, do we have another wall? Oh, him. Okay, this is pretty good. So usually him isn't the best against aggro, but the Goblins deck is a synergy deck, all the Goblins working together. And the games, because of Ringleader and Matron, can get kind of grindy. So these cards actually have a lot more value than you might think against like a random like Kurt Ape attack deck or something. So yeah, this is pretty good. Good draw for Kyle here. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna agree with you that the Goblins has raw cards. Raw cards is what they're doing, and this is a 2-for-1. And he hit a pile driver.
And there's another therapy.
The pile driver is not great here because obviously Kyle's not playing blue, but it is the kind of thing that can punch through the wall of blossoms.
Yeah.
There's a port.
It's interesting to note that Lorien's mana base is a bunch of pain lands. If Kyle is able to draw a fat creature, so as the rock, what you want to do is draw like a fat dude and start attacking and forcing the Goblins to block, because the Goblins are all like 1/1s and 2/2s. They can't block very well. All right, Goblin Ringleader coming up.
Yeah, that looks like to me.
All right, so him. I don't care about him. All right, Matron.
It's a Matron
and a War Chief.
And a War Chief out of that. So.
All right, so we just
recouping our Hymn to Torok here.
All right.
He's gonna block the lackey, so he gets in for 2.
This is pretty big. And yeah, the other problem with Kyle is that like Diabolic Edict is like kind of embarrassing against Goblins. There's always more Goblins in the Warrens,
Yeah.
Maybe the sacrifice one is not really that impactful.
A lot of people will probably, you're thinking about Kyle's hand here. It's actually, like you said, almost the ideal hand for the rock. He's got a big blocker, so he's not gonna get aggroed out. He's got a bunch of basic lands. He's not gonna get wasted out, and that means when he draws his horrifying large creatures, he's gonna be able to cast them. Looks like we're gonna get a Matron here. Oh no, it's a War Chief.
You play the War Chief first because it gives you a discount.
That's true. I forgot about it.
We drew the land, so we can't Matron this turn, but we can next turn. But we drew something we can cast, which was a Skirk Prospector. I think we wait until next turn to go off with the Matron, but next turn, like, Kyle's gonna be in some trouble. There's gonna be a lot of Goblins running around. And yeah, Kyle's like, I need to edict you. All the Goblins are at the very least, they have the text 1 red mana.
Yeah.
And also, Kyle, just use your mana now. You might draw Spirit Monger this turn. You don't want to.
Surprised Lorien didn't attack, or is this before he gets to his attack?
Yeah, maybe so. He's gonna
choose the lackey because I guess he's figuring that if it's still Lorien's first main phase, he can sacrifice. He can decide to go for the Matron now.
Yeah, he'd have to sacrifice 2 Goblins to play the Matron. I don't think there's any. He doesn't have to do that. But like next turn, we can Matron up another Ringleader probably. Yeah. Matron for Ringleader. We can sacrifice 1 Goblin to cast the Ringleader. Get a bunch more Goblins. Like that's the plan, All right, Kyle. We want to top deck. Spirit Monger. We're going to top deck a giant guy to make these attacks bad.
A Spirit Monger would be horrifying.
Oh, this is even better.
This is
like this is like drawing 5 Goblins or something. Like each squirrel trading
Look at
the
these
Goblins.
Squirrel tokens. Great job.
Yeah, this is.
I could not get these. Wow.
All right.
He could have. Oh, he should have therapied. He doesn't have therapy. It's Hymn to Torok. Never mind.
All right. So.
Here comes
if there's a sharpshooter in Lorien's list, then this isn't relevant. And there is. So Lorien's go get sharpshooter and kill all the guys.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, sharpshooter.
Okay. I don't recognize these new border.
It's the old art, but it's got the weird border, makes it harder to recognize. So you can play the sharpshooter with haste, shoot the deranged hermit, and then shoot all the squirrels down. So we're just kind of trading the haymakers. Woof. All right. Yeah, I remember some. Yeah. The sharpshooter. Also, we have sharpshooter plus Skirk Prospector for potential like combo machine gun. For some extra reach as we get Kyle lower.
Yeah.
So Kyle's gonna. We need to see Pernicious Deed like real soon.
I mean, this sharpshooter represents. Could he win this turn?
I don't think so.
No, not from 14. Okay, he can't kill from 14.
Yeah, but like potentially, I think if Kyle has no plays next turn, he might be dead.
Well, he's at an effective 10 because the sharpshooter plus 4 Skirk Prospector sacrifices is 4 damage or 5 damage. I guess effective 9.
Yeah.
So that's one. He's one off right now from winning. So the question is, can Kyle? So this is a huge turn. I mean, a deed here is just nuts.
Yeah. Kyle needs to draw something pretty strong. What are we doing? What are we doing with our mana? Nothing, right? Nothing. All right, so I think that Lori's trying to shoot down the Wall of Blossoms. Yeah, he's just gonna kill the Wall of Blossoms. Yeah. Sure, why not? Get this wall out of the way. In case we draw like a pile driver, we can just swing in for like a zillion damage.
Yeah, forgetting of course that I forgot of course that Wall of Blossoms. I don't think you want to do it now. I think you want to wait for
Yeah.
something else.
We definitely wait.
You don't want to go for the machine gun yet.
Okay. Right.
I do think he's dead this turn though.
I think. Well, he sacrificed the matron, but he's dead. Yeah, we're packing it up. So that's good job, Goblins. Strong start. You know, we had the quick win from the lackey, and then when that was stopped, we re-upped with our ancestral recall from the ringleader and our demonic tutor from the matron. You know, just all the engines were firing. All our guys had haste. We're just rumbling into the red zone.
I mean, that was like a Goblins game that I don't feel like we've seen in the league yet, where it's just like, everything worked. You had, and I didn't even need to use my lackey. Like the lackey was just food for a deranged tournament. Knowing that he has the sharpshooter, I wonder if that impacts Kyle's decisions sideboarding wise. I do love me some deranged hermit, but if they're gonna just kill it like that was.
Yeah, that's a little rough, but I think, you know, barring sharpshooter showing up with haste, deranged hermit's pretty insane in the matchup. So Kyle's gets to be on the play. Like, he's gonna bring in these engineered plagues. Like I might be tempted to bring this bone shredder. Like, you just want more removal. You know, those are the things I would for sure bring in. And then, you know, Lorien's got to know, because, you know, this list is kind of out in the open. It won the last league. You know, Lorien's going to have the Drellner's Crusades and maybe like a Goblin King. But as the Goblins player, unless your opponent is playing some sort of like combo deck where you need to really mess with your deck to bring in a bunch of cards that interact with them, you don't want to sideboard too much because you're a synergy deck. You know, anything you have in your deck that's not a Goblin, you really have to justify that. So I expect not much else besides the Drellner's Crusade, maybe like the Goblin King. And, you know, Kyle's going to bring in cards that are dedicated. Anything that kills a creature or like Engineer Plague, like those are cards you want to see here.
Well, I'm interested in your perspective on this. So let's say, what does he want to take out of the Rock deck?
Wow, it's really hard because usually, like, against these aggressive decks, they empty their hand very quickly. So like hand disruption isn't very good. But the Goblins deck, like as you saw later, the Goblins deck has expensive cards like Ringleader. That's 4 mana. So that's a card in their hand as a game. And because of Ringleader, they'll have cards later in the game. So you can't just like take out your Cabal therapies because like you want therapy naming like Ringleader. That card's a problem. So it's tricky for Kyle to decide what to take out. He's got a Gigapede. I don't think that card does anything. Probably get rid of that one.
Yeah. Good point. And that's actually a good point because you can swap things. The thing I'm saying is, like, let's say, because you're saying you bring anything that kills a creature, right? And so he's got a sideboard. He's got Bone Shredder and Masticore, but he also has 3 Living Wish. So do you swap those? Do you bring them into your deck so you don't add that Living Wish tax against the deck with 4 Rishadan cards, or do you do you leave them in the sideboard so you have extra access to them? Unless you really are saying, like, I would rather draw this card than my 4th therapy or whatever it is, right? That's always an interesting question when you have these kinds of wishboard decks.
Right. I'm not 100% like. I think maybe you'd leave the Masticore in the sideboard, but bring in the Bone Shredder. The important thing to note about, you were mentioning Roshan port, because Kyle is on the play, unless there's a lackey running around, the Goblins deck is kind of mana hungry.
Yeah.
So it's hard for them to activate the port unless they're like connecting with lackey anyway, especially on the draw. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. But here we are. We're shuffling up. We're getting ready.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Kyle's gonna mulligan.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'm keeping a hand like I kept in that first game. If I'm Kyle, lots of lands. I'm gonna draw a big guy, and unfortunately, it was the one big guy that they could really interact with. If he had drawn Ravenous Baloth or something, like, you know.
Yeah. Kyle's hand just needed something proactive to do, so he never really got to turn the corner or start attacking the Goblin
I just don't want to
player.
be stuck with a bunch of cards in my hand that I can't cast because I have 2 lands in play against the Goblin deck, which is going to pressure me. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you want to draw a lot of lands in your opening hand. You know, that's the issue with the Rock deck generally. Now, granted, he does have Veteran Explorer.
Yeah, I'm actually very curious who Veteran Explorer benefits more, and maybe we'll find out, because the Goblins deck does have some expensive cards, and so does Kyle's deck. So yeah, if they both get 2 extra lands, who's the beneficiary here?
I just want to see a Living Death. I just want to see that go.
Yeah, Living Death would be pretty exciting.
I really want to see that. I wonder if well, I guess Lauren wants to keep in his Cabal Therapies for the Engineered Plague.
Right, and that's the other thing about Living Wish. If your opponent has Cabal Therapy in their deck and you cast Living Wish, it's like really embarrassing because they just like, oh, well, I'll just therapy whatever you just wished for. Well,
the same is true.
All right.
You kept the therapies in. I was going to say the same thing is true of Goblin Matron. Like, you do something up, it gets eaten by therapy.
So I assume that we name like Lackey if we don't. Oh wow, Lorientan has a lot of lands. Oh, so Lorien mulligan into a not exciting hand here.
Guess he wasn't named Lackey.
Yeah.
Because you're not.
So I think both players mulliganed, but yeah, Lorien's got. This is like the opposite of last game where he had Lackey and Ringleader and all sorts of stuff. He can turn to this War Chief if he decides to sacrifice his own Skirk Prospector. Since we're already like light on resources, we probably don't have to do that.
I wouldn't do that. I wonder what the card he put on the bottom was. My guess is he drew 5 lands and 2 guys, and
yeah. So on Lorien's turn 2, we just like attack for 1 and then port Kyle, which isn't that great now they played a Mana Bird, you know. Like...
Yeah, that's really bad actually. Well, I mean, it's not really bad, but you know what I mean. It's like not. It's less appealing, I guess, is what I mean to say.
Yeah,
you know?
You can't like stop him from playing like a 3-drop next turn. So you know
that's what we're doing. We've committed to that. We didn't keep this hand to not do that. We have a 1-drop and we have a port, and we were hoping that this didn't happen, but it happened.
Yeah. So so this could be interesting. Like, for instance, if Kyle just has like Necro in his hand, he's not getting pressured for a lot of damage. He could just play Necro. All right, nope. We're going for the.
Well, the War Chief has haste, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We can attack right away, especially now that the port is less appealing. Just put him under pressure. All right, Kyle. What do you got for us? Like this, you're being set up.
Phyrexian Tower. Okay. Something cool's about to happen.
Okay, I mean, okay, if we're casting him. All right. Well, since Lorien's hand isn't really that great, we make him discard some lands. Double Stone Ring.
It's one of those things where it's like, ooh, thank God they himmed me, so I have a good excuse about why I lost, as opposed to just keeping this hand that wasn't great. I need the 8-sided die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep.
Yeah. What was it, Kyle?
No, he's got to roll it on screen.
All right, there we go. So we're going to probably get 2 lands. We got a Bloodstained Mire. Oh, Matron! Woof! Now that's a good hit
hurts.
because we know that the rest of it, Lorien's hand, I think is lands. So, that's really painful. Matron could have got Ringleader, or just Matron could have got Pile Driver, and they could have swung in for like 7 or 9 damage this turn. So this was
Drew another Matron.
Do we draw a Ringleader? We're tapping 4 mana. Oh wait, we're thinking. What's going on? We're tapping both the red mana.
Oh,
Goblin King.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, where's the David Bowie art? Come on, people. Where's the David Bowie? All right, Dabbling Edict.
No, this is the original art. You got to use this.
No way, Goblin. Dude, it's Halloween. Goblin King. Get my little brother out of here. Whatever Jennifer Connelly was wishing for. Are we gonna him again? Yeah. Okay. Get out of here. Wow.
All right, well, Now we're in top deck mode. I was kind of.
All right, so both players are on Hellbent.
Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah. Kyle's got, more resources to work with, so this situation should favor him. Meanwhile, Lorian's attacking with, some grizzly bears. So
Bring on a 2/2. Of course, every goblin he's going to play is going to just add a lot more to the clock.
Get these gray ogres into the red zone. Send a message.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kyle has access to 6, which I think means he can cast anything in his deck.
Yeah, he can cast anything in his deck. He basically just doesn't want to draw land, or another hymn, I guess. Another hymn would be Lorian's got some card in his hand. We can get that.
Yeah.
I mean,
rather have that than a therapy.
Yeah, like what could Lorian not play right now? Like he could have a therapy in his hand, or he could have like a ringleader. Like if there's a ringleader in Lorian's hand, he really. Oh wait, no, he's casting it. Never mind. Matron. Okay, well we really want to draw him or therapy now. Or I think one of these birds is going to kill itself to
I'm
get whatever.
I'm surprised he's doing this. I guess it's just kind of like.
You're kind of finessed. What are you going to do? Not play this demonic tutor?
I know. So this is a really interesting spot. I'm trying to count the good hits off the top for Kyle. He's got 2 Treetop Village, which are, halfway good hits.
Yeah, medium.
And then here's he doesn't want to draw his 3rd birds or his 4 Veteran Explorers or one of the 3 remaining therapies or the 1 remaining hymn, plus all the lands, all the other lands.
I don't even think that you therapy the lackey away. I feel like the game has moved beyond the lackey stage of the game. Okay.
Phyrexian
Plague Lord. That's a real magic card. And we've got this is real good. Board and the Goblin King makes it where I can't just throw our birds at the goblins and kill the goblins right away, but this a 4/4 is good enough to just say no to these red creatures.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he can't attack, right?
Boy.
He's gonna play the lackey.
Yeah. He drew another spell. This is the pile driver.
Is it a pile driver?
Yeah. So that could beat down through the guy if Lorian teams here. So the ball is definitely back in Kyle's court, and the Goblin King's being super relevant. If the Goblin King wasn't in play, Kyle could just throw these birds and kill all these goblins, and Dust Bowl.
Dust Bowl, not what you wanted.
Right.
So I guess you're thinking
it's not even that bad because damage is on the stack in this format. So you can just block. If you want to, you can block the pile driver and sack the Plague Lord to kill the Goblin King.
And then sack the birds to kill the pile driver. Oh no, because it's damage stacks anyway. How about could you wipe this board? And I think you can because you block the pile driver, damage on the stack, you kill the Goblin King, and then
No. So before damage, you sack the birds, and you give -1/-1 to each of these other creatures, and then you kill the Goblin King, and they become 1/1s with -1/-1 on them.
Exactly.
Right,
I got there. Another pile driver really hurts though.
Yeah. So Kyle's gonna need to draw another fat beat. We're gonna need to Living Wish for something. Pernicious Deed.
Nightmare?
Pernicious Deed would work. Okay. So that's super relevant. Now we can just start zorching away these guys. Once the Goblin King is dead,
So the Goblin King is gonna, and now that kills. Yep.
Yeah, and now these guys are not great. So this was a big turn.
Quick question that was coming in from chat: Duress or him? Which one do you prefer in this format?
Well, him puts a lot of pressure on your mana base. So him, in these decks with Necro, him is really good, obviously, but a lot of decks can't afford to do that. I like Duress a lot if you're playing a combo deck, because usually the cards that are stopping you as a combo deck in this format are spells like Force of Will. But
look at this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're just going off. We get to Zorch away all Lorien's creatures with just coming down with the sickness here. We've got the Plague Lord, we've got the Engineered Plague. It's just sad times for goblins.
Wow, God, I love Phyrexian Plague Lord. I love cards like that though. I always screw around with them, but man, this game has turned around.
Yeah. I mean, like this 1-2 punch is kind of the hard lock for Lorien because like almost nothing that he draws is gonna be able to like get out from under this problem. So I think that we're gonna slowly see him get punched out by this 4/4 basically. But yeah, back to the question. Like him requires is a steep mana base commitment. So if your mana base can support it and you're on like a grindy strategy, then him is really good. But if you're playing like some combo deck and you have like a bunch of Cities of Brass and your mana is kind of weird, Duress is better because usually the cards that beat you are as a combo deck are going to be like weird spells. So yeah, it really just depends on the construction of your deck.
I think people don't realize how good the decks are in this format. Like him is a great card, obviously, but the decks can be pretty degenerate. And you might dump something with Duress, so they just want to just see what's going on in the first
right
turn.
Like you don't want to hem them and have them like keep the survival of the fittest in their hand and then beat you.
Not only that, but like the extra turn, like you're hemming on their turn 3, like you could be dead.
Yeah,
or their best cards in play. Right, like
So I definitely it's mostly contextual as to how you built your deck, and of course if you're a sniper, play Cabal Therapy because that card is super powerful but it requires like some scouting knowledge or being a sniper. But like Therapy the most. Therapy's awesome. It's big skill testers, a lot of sub games. At this point, Kyle can even like flood out and draw a bunch of lands and still win the game because most of Lorien's cards just don't matter.
Yeah, I think Duress into Therapy is really where you want to be generally.
Oh yeah. That's super disruptive, and then you can't miss with your Therapy. Lorien just has to pass probably because the cards in his hand just like don't do anything.
Down to 1. And other Phyrexian Tower and a Ravenous Baloth.
Okay, so Lorien being at 1 is super relevant because his only possible out there could have been like Living Death, but his black mana would have required him to take a damage. Yeah. So, GG. So there you go.
We would have had to get the Drownlew's Crusade and then Living Death.
Right. Well, no, because if he Living Death, the Goblin King would have come back, and everyone would have been fine, I think.
Well, is Lorien on Goblin bidding? Would you describe this deck as no? There's no bidding.
There's no bidding. There's just Living Death.
There's Living Death, yes, but not really.
Yeah, it's fun. It's very similar, except you have to set up Living Death a little bit more. But he has kind of the same plan where he can just resurrect all his goblins if you kill all the goblins for sure. But Living Death also nukes all of your opponent's creatures while you're doing that. You just
as opposed to letting your opponent pick a creature type like, Avatar and get whatever bizarre. What are those horrible cards?
I don't think Patriarch's bidding is symmetric. I think only you, the caster.
No, it is symmetric. Each player, yeah.
Whoa!
Gorgon is bizarre, the dreadful. The one I'm thinking of
play
Avatar.
That card. Okay, just play Living Death. That's way better.
It's the same effect. It's effectively the same effect. I mean, you don't.
No. Patriarch's bidding just takes the creatures of that type and puts them into play, whereas Living Death takes all the creatures and puts them into play and kills all the creatures that are currently in play. So Living Death is like a huge swing where like you can be way behind and then you can wipe their board and bring back all your guys. So
I'm wondering if there's another Patriarch's bidding deck we haven't found yet. I mean,
I think just because Living Death is in the format, I feel like that's probably just going to be strictly better.
Yeah, I guess like also Hermit Druid is in the format, so
right. Like you can just like kill them on turn 3 with Hermit Druid or something. So this is going to be important. Lorien gets to be on the play, which makes Goblin Lackey like super powerful. Kyle's list on turn 1, he can play a Veteran Explorer to block Goblin Lackey. That is it. If Lorien just opens on turn 1 Lackey, Kyle has to trade off with Veteran Explorer. He doesn't have like anything else in his list that will answer it. So Lorien could potentially just like run away with the game on turn 2 with a bunch of free goblins. Doing it Muxus style, except you actually had to attack for these goblins. And yeah, we saw how powerful the sideboard cards were. Engineered Plague. Nowadays Engineered Plague's not a creature and it's not symmetric and has Death Touch. But Engineered Plague's still good. Your opponent's playing tribal decks. You want to stop these little kids from having fun with their tribal decks. You just bust out the Engineered Plagues and take them to school.
I did realize actually it was I was always wondering why my Plague Engineer was a carrier, and then I remembered that Phyrexian Plague Lord is a creature carrier. When we saw it in play. Summon carrier.
And yeah, it's interesting just how much more powerful Phyrexian Plague Lord is because damage is on the stack in this format.
Yeah.
If damage wasn't on the stack, his abilities would be very unimpressive. But because they are, he's always a 2-for-1 in matchups where people care about creature combat. So it's really powerful.
There are 5 creatures with type carrier in the game. They're Plague Engineer, Phyrexian Plague Lord, and then Phyrexian Denouncer, Defiler, and Debaser, each of which sacrifices to make something to give -1, -1, -2, -2, -3, -3. So you could build your Patriarch's Bidding on carrier and get some value after you kill them.
Yeah, just resurrect a whole bunch of Plague Engineers and just lock them out with all their creatures getting -4, -4. So Kyle's going to have to mulligan here, and Lorien's kept. Lorien's keep, to me, signifies that Goblin Lackey is showing up on turn 1. That's what I'm reading into this keep. Lorien, if you look at his deck list, his turn 1 play is Lackey and Skirk Prospector, and one of those cards is way better than the other. So if I'm keeping my 7 and it doesn't have a Lackey, there's gonna have to be a really strong reason for that. So,
coming in from the chat again, people are still discussing him versus Duress. Is that in this particular rock deck, do you really want the card advantage against land still? And I'm trying to think how I feel about that.
So in this particular rock deck, it is an attrition deck. You're trying to grind your opponent out. You have card advantage from Necro. You have board control with Deed, and card advantage from him. And so him is on message. Your generic game plan is to just grind out all of your opponent's resources and then get them with your Spirit Monger or Deranged Hermit, something that kind of goes a little over the top of them. So in this deck, also because you're playing Necro, your mana is built to support Necro, so
might as well play
him. playing him is not a problem in this deck, But so in the context of this deck, I think him is perfectly fine, and it's where you want to be with your deck building.
I think about the land still matchup specifically, though. I still feel like I want Duress.
Well, against me, when I played this matchup, my opponent had the Duresses on the board and just boarded them all in.
Yeah, right.
So there you go. But for game 1, in the context of how the rock deck works, I think him is the better card.
Yeah, I'm not really. Tweety is in on him being a trap in the format, and I think that it's interesting.
All right, so Lorien, he's got the turn 1 Goblin Lackey. So let's see what happens on turn 2, because this could get real awkward. All right, show us a Veteran Explorer.
This is why, by the way, you play Vendetta. A card that's what I'm thinking. People saying we got to play him in the rock. I don't do that.
All right.
The reason I don't play him in the rock is because I play Vendetta. Because you have to kill
Vendetta's
this
a totally different card.
I know, but I'm saying I want more. That's what I'm saying. I want more 1-mana spells because it sucks to oh yeah, this will be cool, and then you're on the play.
Okay, so even though there's this dangerous Goblin Lackey running around, the only other Goblin in Lorien's hand is a Pile Driver. So.
But he's gonna get to port and put
he's gonna get to port. We're definitely in trouble, but we didn't see I'm pretty sure Ringleader must have been the name. That's the card you're scared of the most. So yeah, we're definitely in trouble as Kyle. We get ported. This Pile Driver shows up, and then on turn 3,
he's deciding. He looks like he's deciding between whatever that face down card is in the Pile Driver, and we're gonna get it. What is it? Ringleader.
Well,
okay,
obviously, of course, So
we have a Bloodstained Mire, a City of Brass.
Uh-oh.
Look, but he's got lands.
All right. Yeah, so Lorian just put some Avalanche Riders into play. 2/2 haste.
Oh, he's not even gonna go for the port. He's steaming off. He's steaming off.
Lorian's got a lot of damage here. Once we play the Drellner's Crusade, we're gonna get in for 5, 6, 7. Plus we're gonna get in for like 11 damage. That's
the top card of his deck's probably a Goblin.
Yeah, like the once you're ahead like this, Goblin Pile Driver works better when you have a bunch of Goblins already in play. So yeah, I mean, Lorian may not even need the extra cards. He could just,
Well, I definitely think he's got to windmill the Drowner's Crusade because he can't let Kyle untap and play Engineer Plague.
Yeah, I think Lorian's plan is just put this game away as quickly as possible. And so Kyle's going to need Wall of Blossoms. The Diabolic Edict is just so. Like, we're assuming that Kyle has some sort of sick. No. All right, so.
Oh, there's a therapy on the Drowner's Crusade.
Therapy. Oh no! If Kyle misses his land drop, we're in trouble.
Oh yeah, well.
Because now we can just port Kyle, and all of Kyle's most impactful plays cost 3 mana. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus another 4, 8 damage.
Hold on, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8. Okay.
Yeah. And Kyle's is dead.
Because of the port. The port's
the port gets him, and also like he can't even like take damage off his land because like there's like lethal damage running around. So
Good game for him to Torak.
Yeah, I mean it was all like turn 1 lackey, It's like
that's it.
Turn 1 lackey
shows up. Play 1 mana interaction. You gotta ping it.
Well, largely in this format, there aren't that many. There aren't like Deathrite Shamans in this format you have to kill. Like it's like lackey,
Mother.
And, like. Yeah, nobody's playing that card.
Right. Mother of Runes. Yeah. Well, Woodrow, wrapping up. I think we had some good matches. These were good matches tonight. I feel like we got to see what decks do.
Yeah, I really wish we'd see more of Tweety's deck. But because he's forced in this kind of reactive role, we didn't get to see his deck has a lot of weird combos in it. He had this Reanimator package, but he also had the Oath and the Contamination Lock. It'd been cool to see that. But otherwise, I get to see everything. Got to see how powerful Goblins is, how it can draw a bunch of cards. I'd also like to point out everyone who's hollering about Duress. Duress would not have done anything against Goblins.
Duress would not have. I know, but what I'm saying is, like, in general, I'm leaning towards that 1 mana interaction in this format because you got to kill a bird, you got to kill a Goblin lackey, you got to get I know it sounds stupid, but like find a way to get a Dreadnought off the table. Sometimes, you're gonna take 12, but it's better than taking 12 twice. So. Sometimes you got to just do it. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Well, you're still talking about like Vendetta, and yeah. So the problem is like black in this format. There's no like fatal push. You have like Smother, and the 1 mana card is Innocent Blood, but you have to construct your deck very interestingly with no creatures basically to make Innocent Blood like a relevant Magic card.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and I guess my point is like that's the thing. We can pick it up next week. We'll see what everyone has to say about. Everyone's closing their links, so we're gonna get out of here. But
is him a trap? We'll find out. We'll find out.
All right. Thanks, Woodrow. Have a good night.
Thanks.